Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating theoretical concept that could completely change what your Wi-Fi router is capable of, turning it from just an internet gateway into a tool that can actually interact with the world around it. So let's start with a big question. What if your Wi-Fi could do a whole lot more than just get you online? It turns out those invisible radio signals filling your room right now might have a hidden superpower we're only just starting to figure out. Okay, so there was this recent and frankly mind-blowing breakthrough called LatentCSI. It basically showed that Wi-Fi signals can be used to see. By analyzing how all those signals bounce around, it can create these incredibly detailed images of a room's layout right through solid walls. So how does it work? Well, the system measures something called channel state information, or CSI for short. You can think of CSI as a raw, super detailed map of how Wi-Fi signals are reflecting, getting absorbed, and just generally scattering all over a space. An AI then takes all that complex data and translates it into a picture, essentially painting an image with radio waves. Now, this is where things start to feel like science fiction. A brand new theoretical paper takes this whole idea a giant leap forward. It asks a really profound question. If Wi-Fi can already see the world, can we teach it to act on that world? The core idea here is making the jump from just passively mapping out a room to actively and precisely focusing Wi-Fi energy onto a specific target. It's the difference between just taking a photo of something and actually using a precision tool to interact with it. And the concept even has a name, latent CSI to beam. The goal is to concentrate that radio frequency energy with the precision of a scalpel. And this is key. It's all designed to stay well within the established public safety limits for RF exposure. Okay, so how on earth would this even work? How do you go from a plain old Wi-Fi signal to a focused beam of energy? Well, the proposed blueprint actually breaks it down into a pretty clear process. It all boils down to this proposed 5-step process. You start with the same Wi-Fi sensing we just talked about, but then the AI decodes a different kind of map, an impedance map, to really understand the physics of the room. From there, it calculates the exact signal pattern needed, uses standard routers to create the beam, and then uses a feedback loop to make absolutely sure it's hitting the right spot. And get this, you wouldn't need a bunch of new exotic hardware. The concept is designed to use standard Wi-Fi 6E or 7 routers. You'd supplement them with these low-cost metasurface tiles, which act like smart mirrors for radio waves, helping to shape and direct the beam with incredible precision. And finally, the target itself would have a special receiver layer designed to efficiently soak up that focused energy. All right, let's pause for a second. The idea of focusing energy, no matter how gentle, immediately brings up some really important questions about what it could be used for and, of course, about safety. The paper lays out a few example operating modes, and it's important to see they're all designed to work well below therapeutic levels and within public safety guidelines. We're talking about very low-power stuff, like a biowarm mode for gently priming seeds in agriculture, or a dry root mode to reduce humidity around plants. Nothing high power. And this quote really gets to the heart of the design philosophy here. The entire system is built from the ground up on a foundation of safety. The number one rule is to always stay within public limits and to use those special receiver layers to make sure the energy only goes exactly where it's intended. To make that happen, the concept proposes what they call a safety scaffold. Think of it as multiple layers of protection. You've got a power governor that sets strict energy budgets, you have motion sensors that instantly cut the beam if something moves in the way, and you even have an active handshake, where the target literally has to confirm its identity before any energy is sent. And what about privacy? I mean, a system that can see through walls is bound to raise some eyebrows. Well, the design tackles this head-on. First, all the complex calculations happen right on your local device. Nothing gets sent to the cloud. Second, the AI is intentionally designed to only perceive the target, basically blurring out everything else. And of course, the whole system would be strictly opt-in. So, with a really solid framework for safe and private operation in mind, let's look out at the horizon. What kind of cool applications could a technology like this actually unlock? The potential here is just so broad. I mean, imagine in agriculture, you could precisely warm the soil to help seeds grow, or protect a single plant from a sudden frost, all without bulky heaters. In manufacturing, you could cure 3D printed materials layer by layer, even through the walls of a container. It could even be a powerful, low-cost tool for safely showing students advanced physics concepts like beamforming right in the classroom. Now, it is really important to remember this is a theoretical concept right now. The path to making it real would be a very careful three-stage process. First, you'd have to perfect the sensing and mapping part. Then you develop those specialized receiver materials. And only then, after tons of R&D, would you combine everything for a fully integrated demo in a controlled, fully audited lab environment. So really, what we're looking at here is the very beginning of a huge conceptual shift, from an environment that's just connected to one that could become truly responsive. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. When the spaces we live and work in can not only sense what's happening, but can safely and precisely act on our behalf, what becomes possible next?